Last month I reviewed a truck that I didn't expect to like, and that was the GMC Sierra EV AT4. And this month I have, well, its brother. This is the Silverado EV. It's essentially the exact same truck. So this is gonna be a very short review. I'm gonna come to also very similar conclusions, but would I pick this over the Sierra EV? And I think I would, and I'm going to explain in this review why I would pick this over the Sierra EV, and let's start with the styling. Traffic cone orange, I'm a big fan of. My wife loves the orange, so we've been enjoying having this truck at our property this week. Now, the front end, it's a little soft for me, but this is where it wins over the Sierra EV. All right, this is the Trail Boss. Okay, that's why we see the red recovery points up front. But I love how there's just tons of paint match up front, and that's where the Sierra EV last month, it was just like all glossy black, and while it looked cool, I just wanted more real paint on the front to match the rest of the vehicle. And while this light bar up the front looks a little soft, it looks a little goofy, the paint for me goes a long ways. All right, so the Trail Boss, like the AT4, has 2 extra inches of ground clearance. We have 4-wheel steering on this model. We have a plastic skid plate here, of course, totally flat floor for a BEV. Okay, there's a little button inside there to open the hood. I like this electronic hood. And like mentioned with the AT4, all right, you just push this up a little bit higher, all right, so you don't hit your head. Huge frunk. Appreciate that. A couple cup holders in here. All right, so there's a ton of power in here. 0 to 60 under 5 seconds shouldn't be much of an issue, especially when you do the wide open watts thing. I don't ever find myself needing to accelerate that fast in a truck like this, but that's just me. All right, this has the max battery pack, so it's around 200 kilowatts. And I've been seeing 200 kilowatt hours. I've been seeing about 2.4 miles per kilowatt hour driving in town. And then on the highway, you're probably gonna be closer to 2 miles per kilowatt hour. And I'll go ahead and put what kind of range you would expect as a result of having that sort of efficiency. Now, there's also the 170 kilowatt hour battery pack. And there's also the 120 kilowatt hour battery pack on the base trim. So let's go ahead and close the hood here. You just tug on the latch there and it closes itself. So we have these massive 35-inch tires as well as 18-inch wheels here on the Trail Boss. I like the running boards. You know, I think this truck should have been called the Avalanche. I like the Trail Boss thing though, but the Avalanche to harken back to kind of that cool futuristic pickup truck that Chevy had, which was a modified Silverado, of course. All right. Okay, this has the split tailgate thing like the GMC did as well. All right, and I remember having an issue. Oh, this closes actually better than the GMC truck. For some reason, I'm not getting hung up on the tonneau cover here or the bed cover. Like I was previously. Just like the GMC, we have tons of power hookups back here. It would be great as a utility truck, a work truck. You have the mid-gate, which takes only just a couple minutes to fold down, to have even a longer bed capacity. I want to say payload's around 2,000 pounds. This is exactly what I'm looking for in an EV pickup truck. Lots of power, lots of flexibility, lots of accessory power, lots of range. Here's where you charge the guy. CCS1 still, no knacks on this quite yet. These things can charge AC like crazy fast. I want to say something like 18 kilowatts. You know, typically I say that's complete overkill, but when you have 200 kilowatt hours of battery pack to juice up, the more amperage you can get, the better. All right, for this sort of at-home charging. Also, with this being 800 volt architecture, this can add about 10 miles every minute. All right, so 100 miles in 10 minutes of charging, DC fast charging. All right, so let's get into the back seat. I like how we have smart key access on all 4 doors here. My kids, it's just amazing to be able to get in here for the kids. Look at all this space. I mean, it's like bigger and wider than a minivan. So we have also a little sunshade here for the roof. Okay, it is tinted a little bit, but yeah, this is also included here, right? It's probably an accessory. Wouldn't be surprised. I haven't looked at the Monroney for that piece yet, but hard touch here, soft touch for the armrest. Again, tons of legroom. USBs down here at the bottom, as well as a AC 120. Okay, vents, heated outboard seats. I mean, just tons of space overhead as well. And again, this glass is removable for the midgate sort of thing. All right, so handle's really nice for the kids to get in and out of. Let's go ahead and get into the front seat. Let's fire her up. Well, not really. There's no button. You just put your foot on the brake pedal and it turns on. Okay, so no start-stop engine technology, no on button or off button. You walk away from the truck and it turns off, okay? This is a massive screen, something like 17 to 18 inches. You know, Google built in here. The software is pretty darn good, but the problem is well, there's no Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, which is not like a deal breaker for a lot of people. However, what I really like about this is that the screen it's not overly huge like the GMC. There's less shiny bits in here as well, just the hair. I still have silver trim around here, which will blind you. Silver trim around the cup holders right here, which could blind you. But I do like overall this interior better because I have a more like usable physical climate control. I like the rotary dials here for the climate control, the volume knob up top. So this interior I like better than the GMC. You know, the GMC probably had a little bit better materials overall, but this truck's been creaking and rattling less than my experience with the AT4. I'd be happy to save a little bit of money and get this setup in the Chevy and have more paint on my front bumper than the GMC. And yeah, this is the truck to get, I think, over the GMC overall. And we also have a nice head-up display there and a digital rearview mirror on this model. All right, driving the Silverado EV, this 2026 model, it doesn't feel really any different whatsoever than the GMC Sierra EV AT4 that I drove last month. Okay, I still have Super Cruise, pretty much the same technology. Oh my, we have a thong on the Banks Pitbull station. Anyways, yeah, we'll go to John Mayer. That's a little bit more, you know, PG. The ride quality in here is fantastic. I sit up super high. It doesn't feel nearly as big as like the Hummer. This feels just like a normal pickup truck, except deadly silent. I don't know if deadly's the right word, but dead silent. And it's super fast, all the torque and power you could want. And the one pedal driving here is maybe the best in the industry. I'm not kidding. I really, really appreciate a solid and refined one pedal driving. It is, and you have two different levels here. I just keep it in normal. It's amazing. I hardly ever use the brake pedal to bring this behemoth to a stop. Now, I don't have acoustic glass here like I did in the Sierra. It's still ridiculously quiet in here, insanely quiet without having laminated glass. So love that about this truck as well. Ride quality, exactly the same as Sierra. It's very comfortable. I don't have any crazy noise coming from these all-terrain tires either. That's something that can happen when you have a more aggressive tire. And again, let's get into this one pedal brakes. Super predictable, very forgiving, very linear, and it brings the truck to a stop very smoothly. Okay, let's just get into the acceleration. Full pedal down. All the power I need in standard mode, and that's not the wide open watts stuff, okay? You know, getting into drive modes, you know, in other GM EVs, like there's a drive mode button on this side. I don't have a drive mode button. That's a bit of a miss, okay? If I go to this button in the GMC, it was like a Thor's hammer. Okay, I'm gonna go around this car here because when I hit the throttle, it's fast. Okay, it's not, I mean, I'm already up to speed. It's pretty neck snapping from a stop. A 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds is plenty fast. I'll take it off of this crazy wide open wad stuff. You know, another reason not to use it is it pumps in all that stupid fake audio. It sounds so terrible, it sounds so bad. Why do they have to ruin EVs with synthetic noises? I don't know, but that is definitely a thing. When you want the full performance and you want to impress your friends, well, you impress them with the really stupid synthetic noises as well. All right, so we have four-wheel steering here. I love the 4-wheel steering. If I was getting one of these huge EV GM pickup trucks, I would be getting 4-wheel steering. I think it just makes it so much easier to live with, to park, to maneuver. For me, car line, like that, like if I'm buying a futuristic EV truck, I want all the technology I can get, and the 4-wheel steering here is amazing. So well done, Chevy, including it here. It's technology brought over from the GMC lineup, like the Hummers, for example, and it is done amazingly well. All right, so let's head into the office. Let's put on the spreadsheet. Let's cross shop this. Are there good deals to be had? Let's find out. All right, back in the office after driving the Silverado EV Trail Boss. All right, I want to go ahead and look at some availability of this truck in my area. 150 within 150 miles, that's actually pretty good for such a niche sort of truck. And the deals you're able to get on this is crazy. The EV tax credit's gone, mind you, okay, at this point. So this truck, even with EV tax credit gone, is still an incredible buy. You're able to get really good deals. The Trail Boss would be my pick. I love the big tires. I love the lift on it. That would, and the range is crazy on this truck. Okay, here's that orange paint color that I really like, or maybe that's red, but the orange on the Trail Boss that I have is amazing. Let's see let's look at the Trail Boss. Let's look at the extended range. Do you need the max range? No, but it is interesting. Okay. So here we go. This truck is spec'd at 86K. Okay. And so you're able to get other Trail Bosses out there for 20 grand off, essentially. Now, maybe that's not the full size battery pack, but it still gives you an idea. Like, what's the absolute cheapest you can get a Trail Boss in my area right now? In the 60s. Okay. Great buy, under $70,000 in my opinion, because this truck has great luxury in terms of NVH. It's quiet, it's smooth, it's comfortable. Okay. The tech is good on it. The range is crazy. The power is great. The midgate's amazing. Like, I love this truck. It is super cool. Do I like it more than the AT4? And the answer is, well, maybe. Okay. If I just copy and paste the pros and the cons of the AT4, it pretty much applies. However, the materials aren't as blinding. They can be. Okay. So, but this truck, this sample wasn't as creaky as the AT4. So that just goes to show you that if you're buying this truck, your mileage will vary, your sample will vary, and it's built on the same assembly line as the AT4. And this one seems to be better built than the Sierra that I test drove. It seems to be more tight fitting. There's no creaks or rattles like I had the issue with. Does this mean the Sierra AT4 that I drove is a bad buy? No, I still A tier, and this is A tier as well. Okay, I would pick it over the AT4, but if you want the AT4, go get it. But look at this. All right, let's cross shop the two. You're not getting that. You get a better sound system in the GMC, but other than that, unless you really like the styling over it, there's no point in getting it. There's more Sierra EVs out there, and the front end again doesn't look as good. Because in my opinion, at this point, okay, especially the AT4, I don't know why they ruined it. Anyways, let's look at the AT4s because that I like the lift. Again, I'm a big fan of the overall feel and appeal of this truck. Look, 91K set. What's the lowest price you can get this for? No, it's not. This truck is not worth 10 grand over the Chevy. It is not. Okay, so unfortunately, the kind of like, digs its own grave. General Motors has dug the Sierra EV's own grave because it is not worth the price premium over the Silverado EV, in my opinion. Okay, so here we have it. It's A tier, just like, or maybe even above. I wouldn't call it S tier. It's not take my money. I really do enjoy driving Chevys, these two Chevy trucks, okay? The GMC Sierra EV and the Silverado Trail Boss. They both drive essentially identically. They're smooth, they're quiet, they're great. The Chevy's just a better deal, okay? 10 grand less when you compare them next to each other. So I'm going to end it there. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know if you'd be picking the Silverado over the Sierra? Would you be picking a Cybertruck? Would you be Cybertruck, even though it is a competitor, like, is it really, you either like the looks or you hate the looks? These trucks are much more mild in terms of design. They're not that offensive. In fact, I think they're pretty cool looking. And then you also have the Rivian, which is going to be smaller, but Rivian is an option too. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. I cannot believe I'm ranking these as high as I am, but Chevy did a great job. Or should I say GMC in general did a great job with this BEV pickup truck that they have. Yes, it's heavy. It's a bit disgusting with the amount of battery pack that it has. It seems so wasteful, but it's also really, really practical in the sense that it has lots of range, has good power. It's a great daily driver. And, you know, other than the initial upfront price, there's not a lot of bad things to say about it. All pickup trucks, EV or gas, are expensive at this point, and these seem to be the best bang for your buck electric pickup trucks on the market. They're really, really, really well done. All right. I'll see you guys in the comments. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more car reviews and car updates here on my channel. Have a great day, guys, and peace.